this is Craig. Thank you very much for purchasing ProMystic's Essential Wallet. Now there's 3 versions of this wallet, the Solo, the Standard, and the Plus. We're going to get into all 3 of those and discuss how they're different and how you use them. You can tell which version you have simply based on the circuit board that's inside of the wallet. This might be located in the pocket underneath here of the wallet that you've got, or it will be here on the top. The Solo version of the wallet actually has a vibration motor and it has the push button. The Standard version does not have these because it is wirelessly connected to your ProMystic modular receiver. Then there's the Plus version, which is both combined together. So it will have the motor and the push button, and it will also be wirelessly connected to your receiver. It can only do one at a time, however. It's going to be either wirelessly connected or it'll be the vibration mode. It doesn't do both simultaneously. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is just the Standard version that connects to your wireless receiver. It doesn't have the motor or the switch. There's a lot of good information in this section, so I recommend that you watch that entire section of it because it talks about the cards, it talks about the wallet, getting the batteries in and out, and basically, how to use and the functionality of the wallet along with it being wireless. At the end of that section, I'm going to talk about the Solo version, which is the version that uses the push button and the vibration motor. So we'll cover that next, and then of course the Plus version at the very end will show you how to select which one you want to use for a given performance, whether you want to use the Solo or the Standard. So enjoy this first version, the Standard version, and after that we'll talk about the Solo. Inside you're going to find a nice leather wallet, and there's also going to be a circuit board and some batteries. I'm going to go ahead and install the batteries. Yours may already be installed, and your board may even be in the wallet. But these are CR 2016 batteries. So they're very, very thin. They cost about $1 online. And you can actually run the wallet with 1 battery, or you can run it with 2 batteries if you like. There's even a way where you can have one and with a little bit of a piece of paper underneath it, you could have a reserve battery waiting for you if you ever want to remove it, but it'll run off of 1 or 2 batteries. So if you use 1 battery, it's going to go for about 1 year. If you go with 2 batteries, it's going to go for 2 years. There are no on-off switches. It's always ready to go, which makes it really, really nice and convenient, especially for something that you could carry with you around. Now, inside you're going to find a nice wallet with 3 pockets on either side. And you're also going to find a money slot. I put a few dollars in there for now. Now, in order to install the electronics into the pocket here, there's actually a little bit of a protective flap. And this is used so that people cannot see the electronics if they decide to get really curious about your wallet. So you pull out this protective flap, and this is the left side of the wallet where the money goes here. Now, to install the electronics, you install it with the battery side out. So it's going to be installed like this. It's got rounded corners to help you, makes it easier. The batteries are going to be toward the spine of the wallet. It's designed that way so that it has less ability to feel those batteries like on the edge of the wallet. The edge of this is very thin. So we're just going to slide that into the slot until it stops. So push it all the way in. It won't really move up and down. It won't go in any further. And then we're going to take this flap and we're actually going to just tuck it under. So now if you look inside there, you'll see absolutely nothing at all. And again, you don't have to change these batteries for a year or 2 years if you're using both batteries. You'll notice the wallet is very flexible. It feels really good. Like it just would be impossible that there would be any electronics in there at all. So you don't have to be guilty about using this wallet at all. Now, it's designed to handle business cards. You can even put playing cards in there if you want. You can even use bills if you want to, or credit cards. All of those items will work in there. Now inside there, with the part that we just installed, there are some eyes. So there are some infrared eyes that are monitoring what goes in the pockets and comes out of the pockets. So just to start with, I'm going to put these cards in there sideways so it's really easy for you to see. Now those eyes are right down the center. So Really, you want to keep this a little bit off the edge and put it a little bit more toward the center so that you're covering those eyes up. So I'm going to put a third card right there. Notice these are white on the back. It doesn't have to be a white card, but if I were to use black, it wouldn't work as well. But most other shiny colors will actually work fine. So now we have 3 cards in there. And I'm going to take the Pro Mystic modular receiver, turn it on, set it down onto the table. And the top pocket is pocket number 1. And the middle is 2, and this bottom front pocket here is pocket number 3. So when I remove this first wallet, or the first card, you're going to hear it buzzing a 1. If the card goes back in, it will stop. So that's the 1. This will be the 2. I'll make that stop, and this is number 3. You'll notice the response is very fast. So it's very responsive to anything that gets pulled out. You'll also notice that it doesn't give any false signals at all with those cards in there. Whatever cards you're using, you should test that to make sure you're not getting any false signals. You should test that you can move these around a little bit too and not get anything. Because if your cards have the mag strips on them and it's got that black mag strip, it could falsely set that off. So make sure that whatever cards you're using are nice and robust in there and you're not getting any false signals. That particular time, I went too far away. Actually, I pulled it out a little bit. I lifted it up and it was going off. So now I'm going to reseat that. There you go. All the way down into there. So you got to be careful of that as well. It needs to be set all the way down into the bottom there, like that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you how it gives you 5 repeats when something gets pulled out. So I'm going to pull the number 1 out and it'll start to give me 5 repeats. At the end of 5, it'll stop. But if another card's pulled out, it will just simply update and start sending you the new signal. So you don't always have to wait for the repeats to be done. So right now it's giving me 1s, and the moment somebody pulls out a new card like a 3, now it's giving me a 3. And if someone pulls out a 2, it'll start sending me a 2. So now this is going to be, it'll give 5 times. It has to finish the last 3 that it was on, and then the next time it sends a signal, it'll be the new signal, which happens to be a 2. And it did that 5 times and it stopped. Simple as that. If a card goes back in and it comes back out, it reset that slot and now it's just going to give 1s again. If something were to go into another slot and come back out, it's going to start giving 3s now. So basically every time something comes out, it will notify you. And also every time something goes in, it will either stop the signal it was giving you if it's the same slot, or it resets that slot and makes it ready. That way if somebody pulls something out and they put it back in and they pull out the 3, now you're going to get a 3. And now if the 1 comes out again, you'll start getting a 1. So it's specially designed to handle people pulling something out and putting it back. So that way you always know what the signal is. So honestly, it's just as simple as that, using these electronic signs. Again, test the different items that you're going to use, and you'll know exactly which slot's pulled out. Now, something like a very common routine that typically would be used with this is something like a Visa Cabaret routine, where you would have a prediction of like what cards would be removed and then what pockets they would be put in. But we're going to provide to you a PDF file that has a number of routines on it that you can use. Now there is another feature that I want to show you that we've added, and that's the peek feature. And basically what that allows you to do is have something written down on here. So I'm just going to put a big X on there. And that can then be placed into behind the pocket on the left side. I'm sorry, I guess that's the, if you're looking at it, that's the right side, but this can be placed inside there. And then by looking into the money slot, you'll be able to look right through, and there's some mesh here, and you're going to be able to see what's written on that card directly through that piece of mesh. And that's underneath here. So as an example, a routine that you could do is simply to have maybe 3 different drinks written down on these 3 cards. So it could be something like, you know, martini, margarita, or maybe a glass of wine, something like that. You could ask another person to write down their favorite drink. So they would then write this down, and you would take that back. Now you can store extra business cards on the side if you want to hand them there and say, write down your favorite drink, and you know the rest of you are going to select a drink. Take theirs and you can slide it inside the wallet, and you can then say, I don't want any of you to take, you can say, I don't want any of you guys to choose their favorite drink. We'll put it here so that nobody can take it. But the rest of you would choose one of these drinks, and you can hand this out, and each person can then take one of the other cards. You can have them look at it, and now you'll know which drink each person is thinking about, being the one that they took in order. And then, of course, by going into the wallet, now there's a couple of ploys you can use. You could say, let's make a bet that I'll get this right, and so you could look at the money. Or before you start, you could say, I have a few dollars in here, please don't take my money. And when you get the wallet back, you could say, you guys didn't take my money, did you? And you can look at it kind of as a joke, and you could do the read then. You can also have other business cards in here, where you could then be pulling out a business card that you're going to write down the prediction on, and that gives you cover to do the peek inside the wallet as well. So it was just an added feature that we wanted to put into the wallet, something that people could find different uses for. I'm sure you guys will come up with some great ideas of how to use that additional feature. Now, there's one other thing that I want to tell you about as well, and that is that this side of the wallet is also prepared like this one. So in the future, we will be offering an additional circuit card that you'll be able to purchase, and you'll be able to slide it into this side, and now you will have 4, 5, and 6. So ultimately, this will be a 6-card wallet if you want to buy that expansion piece. I don't have an exact date on when that's going to be out, but that's something that we're planning to put in there in the future. Now, the only thing that you'll have to be careful of if you decide to do this is that when you remove these cards, they're pretty well behaved because these are all connected together. Now, these will be connected together as well, but you'll have to make sure you allow enough time so that when somebody pulls a card from here, that it's able to finish before another card gets pulled out of this side, because then you're going to have colliding signals. Like this will be transmitting in this, because these will not be communicating with each other. So one will transmit or the other one will transmit. So this will be better off if you've got more of a time delay in between those. And we're also looking at a way to adjust the number of repeats that you have. So you might want to go with 3 or 4 repeats to make it actually faster. So we are looking at ways of doing the 3 or 4 repeats for this right now. And if we have an update, we'll put it into the PDF for you. So again, I think you guys will really like this. It feels so natural. It's something that you can carry in your pocket. I know someone's probably going to ask, can I carry this around as an everyday? Yes. Can you sit on it? I've done it. It does seem to last quite a bit, but again, if you put enough pressure on it, you could break it. So I would recommend that it's not something that you want to sit on, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. Like if you're going to go to a gig and you put it in your pocket, or if maybe you can even put it in your front pocket if you travel to your gig or something, and as you're walking around, certainly put it in your back pocket. It's going to handle quite a bit of wear and tear, and even some sitting on it and things like that, where it's not actually going to break. If it does, you can send it back to us and we will fix it for you. But just so that it will handle wear and tear. I just don't recommend that you put it in your back pocket and sit on it every single day, especially with like tight jeans on or something like that. It's going to probably put too much pressure on it. So, okay, now let's talk about the solo version of the wallet. There are situations where it's very nice just to have a single piece of gear that you can just take out and use in a lot of situations, and that would be the solo version of it. I'm going to cover it, and I've already assumed that you've watched the standard version, so you know about the pockets and the wallet and its basic functionality. For the solo version, again, you can use 1 or 2 batteries. I recommend that you use 2 of these batteries though for it, because you are running a vibration motor, and that does require additional power. So having 2 of these is nice. You'll notice when you use 2, the vibration intensity goes up a little bit, and when you use 1, the intensity is down a little bit. But all you have to do is slip the 2 batteries into the electronics and slip the electronics into its compartment and put the cover over the electronics, and you are ready to go. I'm going to use some business cards, and I'm just going to slip these in like this, just to make it super easy to get them in and out. I'm going to slip them in sideways like this so that you can actually see them, and I can pull them out quickly and show you how this is done. Now, the purpose of this is to hand the wallet out and have people select cards. So in this case, I'll select the second card first, and then I will select the first card, and then the third card. It is as simple as that. Then when the performer gets the wallet back, I'll do this open, but right here, you're gonna find a little tactile button that doesn't make any noise, but you can actually feel that click down. When you press down on this thing, the wallet starts to vibrate. In this case, it vibrates the numbers just like your Pro Mystic receiver. So it vibrates 2, followed by a 1, followed by a 3. So now you know the exact order of the cards that we're taking out of the wallet. This is something I use typically when I'm working with a group of people, and it can be done under a table if you like, but I have them each select a card, like one of 3 people selects a card. I then get the wallet back. Now in performance, I do it with the wallet closed. I know, because I have a sharp corner here and I have a rounded corner here, I know my orientation for my button. So that's kind of what that's for. You don't have to open it up and know that your money pocket is on this side. I know it from here. I can actually feel that little bit of a tactile push when I grab this corner and I press down, and the wallet buzzes me as to the order of the cards that they were removed, and that's how I know what they're thinking of. Of course, with the 3 different cards, I have 3 different things written on them. It could be favorite drinks like wine, beer, and tequila. It could be 3 different places that you might travel to. It could be several different things that it actually could be. So that is how this is performed, just by pushing this down. Now there's a few things I want to tell you about. One of them is, I'm going to put the cards back in there. Once the cards are reinserted, and the sensors are more on the center toward the bottom, just so that you remember that. So once the 3 cards are inserted, it resets itself, clears the memory, and you're ready to take the cards out again. If somebody removes a single card and puts it back into the same slot, it will forget that, it wipes it out of memory. So you can recover from that. If they do that and then decide to take the 3rd card, it's still going to be just fine. The first card removed will be the 3rd one. And then in this case, the first one and the 2nd one. When you get the wallet back, you push it and it will vibrate. Now I know you're probably wondering what happens if the spectator pushes the button. Well, we've thought about that, of course. And the way we have this set up is when all the cards are put in there, it does its reset. And if you try to push this button right now, you will not get any signals. If you pull out the first card and push the button, it will not give any signals. So if the spectator accidentally does that while removing a card, they're not going to get buzzed. 2nd card comes out, again, no buzz. 3rd card comes out, no buzz, for a delay that's about 5 seconds. So after about 5 seconds, that's when the performer can press that button and get the response. So there's a delay built in. So even when the 3rd card is removed and the spectator still has the wallet in their hand, that you have time to get the wallet back and press it before it will actually buzz you, being the performer. So those are 2 nice features that are built in that I found important during my performance of the wallet. Was I didn't want the spectator to be buzzed, and I also wanted it to take care of the idea if they removed a card and then changed their mind. Now, what it can't do is if somebody is to remove, for example, they remove the 2nd card in this case, if somebody removes the 3rd card and they put it back into the 2nd slot, that's a problem. It cannot recover from that. It doesn't know that the card got moved or how to deal with that situation. I've never had it happen to me in performance. It's something that I thought about, and I tried to figure out a way to reliably correct for that, but it was difficult, and there were other situations that could happen that would invalidate that. Even if I were to write the software, it gets really convoluted on how it would actually work. So I'm willing to take a miss in that case, in that it's really a corner case. It's never happened to me. I don't suspect it will happen, especially when these are sideways. It'd be pretty unlikely for someone to pull one out, completely pull it out, and then put it back into a different slot, because that could only happen if one was gone, and then decide to pull out a 3rd card, for example. So anyways, that particular corner case is not covered. And that really covers all the features of the solo version. Now let's talk about how to set the mode, whether you want it to be standard, which is wireless to your receiver, or solo. It's very simple, and it happens when you install the first battery. If you just install the battery, it goes into standard wireless mode, and it will start buzzing your receiver. If you want it to be solo, you simply push the button down, and then you install the battery. You'll feel the motor actually buzz when you do that. That is the solo mode, and it happens on the first battery installation. As you know, you can run it off of 2 batteries if you like, so you can install the 2nd battery for that extra charge, but it happens right when you install the battery. It is as simple as that. You can actually do this while the card is installed in the wallet as well, because you can actually see the battery slots and you can get to them, and you can simply push down on this button here while you reach in and install this battery. Make sure that you're getting the plus and minus oriented correctly. You're not going to damage anything if you put the first battery in backwards or anything like that, but just make sure that you get them oriented correctly. And that actually sets the mode, whether it's standard or if it's solo. Again, I hope you guys really, really enjoy this. There's some really fantastic things you can do with this, and I think it's a great piece to have with you for all of your walk around, and you can definitely use it in parlor and stage as well, but it's just such an easy thing to have with you. You can put your money in there, you can put your IDs in there if you want to, but it's just something super easy, and it handles US money and UK money, so it can handle even taller and larger bills without sticking out. So I think you're really going to like this. Thank you very much, and enjoy.